Hey guys, what's going on? It's Boston Rob. Welcome to my first ever live stream interactive chat where we can have an opportunity with each other to chat back and forth. You can ask me questions. Please bear with me. It's my first time ever doing anything like this before. I'm a little bit behind when it comes to technology and stuff, but I will do my best to answer all your questions and hopefully we can have a great time. First of all, you might have noticed behind me is the Red Sox painting that my wife got for me for our wedding back in 2005. If you watched the Rob and Amber Get Married wedding special on CBS, we just recently, last week, celebrated our 12th anniversary, and we have four beautiful daughters now. I think the last time you saw me was on Survivor Redemption Island when I had just one, Lucia, and Karina on the way. You saw her at the finale. Now we have two more daughters, Isabetta and Adelina, which if you're here right now, you probably saw me on Twitter, and you know that I post pictures of my kids all the time on Twitter. So that's kind of like the only social media that I actually use and interact with. But it's fun. It's great. It's an adventure. It gives a whole new meaning to the word survivor. Now being at home with four little ones. Truth be told, Amber probably does most of the work, but I try to chip in as much as I can as well. So without further ado, I have my phone here with the Twitter feed, and I have the iPad with the YouTube feed. So we're going to start to get to some of the questions. First off, was to just start talking about this season of Survivor. I'm pretty excited about it. We've kind of evolved as a family where Wednesday nights are family nights at our house, and we all sit down, we all watch Survivor together, including the kids. They stay up late. It's the one night a week we let them stay up late. They love it. They love the challenges. They don't really understand too much of the social dynamics and the strategy yet, but they pick their favorites every season and they go with it, and they change from season to season. And so if you're on the season now and you got voted out, you might have been a favorite. In my kids' eyes, you're last week's problem, and they're on to someone new. Right now, they're really rooting for Andrea. Andrea's been killing it at the challenges. I got to play with Andrea. She's been doing an awesome job up until this week. Ozzy has been a favorite over here. And of course, from the last time she played, Sierra was a favorite in our house. So first, big ups to Ozzy. First of all, I know he broke my record for most days played, 4 times on Survivor. Ozzy, you're a beast, man. I loved watching you. I loved watching you compete. I wish you could have won, but from one competitor to the other to another, great job. All right, let's kind of go through this, and we'll get to the questions. And just bear with me if I have to look down and up. Like I said, this is the first time I've actually done anything like this, so we'll kind of go through it and see if I can figure out how to do it. Okay. So let's see. Who is the best poker player out of Tyson, Rob C, and Fishback? That's from somebody. All I can see is the letter G. I don't know how many of you guys know, but one of my other passions is I love to play poker. And just recently, I was out in Reno, Nevada. Jason Somerville, who's a professional player for Poker Stars, he and I got to be friends. And Tyson and Sesternino and Fishback came out last fall or spring, and we all played together. And by far, out of the three of them, Tyson's the best, but Tyson couldn't hold a candle to me. Although he did go further than me in a few of the events this series. It's funny, there are a lot of parallels and similarities in the game of Survivor and the game of poker or poker tournament, in that you have to outwit and outlast and outplay, but at the same time, you don't have the physical aspect of the game. You're not starving on an island. There's also a big degree of luck in both games, which plays a major part. Okay, let's see if we can get to some of the Survivor questions here. I'm not sure how to move this. Let's see. Okay, I see how it is now. Sorry, guys. Okay, are there any houses or any restrooms out on the show? No, there are not. When you're on Survivor, as far as using the bathroom, which is a common question, I was on the show the first time like 15 or 16 years ago, and a lot of people want to know about that. You go off into the woods, you do your business. Do the cameras come with you? They give you your privacy, but you're only allowed to go one at a time, and there's no restrooms, there's no downtime. The one thing about Survivor that I say to everybody, it's 100% legit. What you see is what you get. In terms of them filming the show, they shoot it 24 hours a day, every single day. They have two crews, one that comes on during the day. They do like 12 hours. Then they have another crew that comes at night, and the crews have multiple cameras. They shoot the show from all different angles, and they're there to capture what happens. As far as the stories and what they create after in editing, they are only able to use what you give them as far as material, but they're not invading your privacy as far as they want to see you go to the bathroom and that kind of stuff. Okay. Do you or will you go on Survivor again or The Amazing Race? I get this question a lot. I feel fulfilled with my journey on Survivor. I loved every bit of it. I played 4 times. I finally won the last time I played. My wife won. And after she won, she never wanted to go back. And I still had that drive to go and play again. And I never really understood it because I'm a competitor. I love the competition aspect of it. I love the strategic aspect of it. And just being out there, being away from society, being able to unplug and cut off for, a certain amount of time, it's definitely appealing to me. As far as going back and playing again, I think it would have to be a scenario in which I feel like I would have a shot to win. And I don't think that I've seen that scenario come up. I can't think of it. Even if they did an all winners season, I think I might be one of the first targeted to go. But you never say never. As far as The Amazing Race, it's funny. I had kind of a rough experience towards the end of the race, the first time, and then I went back and played the second time. I had fun with the race, but I kind of put that behind me too. But having said that, I just watched the show the other night for the first time in years, and I wonder, how that game has changed. I noticed there are different elements of that game now, with fast forwards and different elements of the game that weren't there the first time. Like I said, I've been away from it for a long time, so I don't know. I'm happy being home right now with my daughters, raising them with my wife, spending time at home, playing poker, being involved in other aspects and business ventures in my life. And my first priority is not to go back and do any television right now. But my mother taught me one thing: never say never. But right now, it's not in the cards. All right, let's go next. There's a lot of questions. Thanks, guys, for showing up. Okay, tips on how to get casting to notice you. That's a good one. Another one that I get all the time too. Just last week I had somebody call me about a referral. I had somebody else ask me, I'm going to an open call. What do I do? Here's the thing. Casting is looking for people that are type A, outgoing personalities, people that are able to tell a story coherently, that can sit and talk to you, and that are not going to be shy and reserved. So that's first and foremost. If you still need to break out of your shell, maybe you should wait a little bit before you decide to apply for Survivor. The one thing I tell everybody is that Survivor is not the place to go to try to figure out who you are. You need to know who you are before you get on that island. Because if you don't, you're going to get eaten alive out there. The people will crush you. So you need to know who you are. You need to be outgoing. You need to, you know, be willing to be put outside of your comfort zone. The first time I did Survivor, I was 23, 24 years old. I was a kid that lived in Boston my whole life. Other than going on vacation with my parents, I hadn't really been anywhere. Uh, I don't really think I had much real world experience. I mean, I had gone to college and I was working in construction in Boston, and the opportunity or the prospect of spending 6 weeks on an island in the middle of the South Pacific in December sounded like, a vacation to me. And in effect, I think you saw maybe a little bit of my immaturity coming through looking back, watching that season back again. I don't even know that I even thought that I could win that season. Never mind, what I was actually out there doing. I knew how the game was played. I understood the social dynamics and stuff. But at the same time, the first individual immunity challenge, I remember Jeff, teasing everybody, if you want to get down and splash some water on somebody, go ahead and do it. And here I am, a kid, not thinking that, you know what, I need this to stay alive in the game, and I'm out there having fun. So you need to know who you are. You need to at least have some real world experience and be focused going out there. And the other thing is going to sound cliche is you got to be yourself, because the casting process is long. It's almost, I think, like maybe a year by the time you go for your initial interview until you are actually leaving on a plane to go play the show. So that's a long time to try to be somebody you're not. I mean, you can go out there and play as somebody that you're not, but in the casting process, be genuine, be honest with yourself and with them. Tell them who you are, what your plans are, what you in trying to do with all of this, and go first and foremost for the adventure. I mean, Survivor has given me probably more than anybody in the history of that show. I have a beautiful wife. I have 4 children. We did pretty okay financially. But most people don't end up like that. Most people end up not winning. So go for the adventure first and foremost, and, be who you are, be outgoing, and, if you are what they're looking for, they'll, call you up and you'll get a shot. You'll get a chance to be on the show. And that's the thing, they look for all different kinds of people. So you don't have to be a prototypical athlete or this or that. There are all different kinds of people that have been on that show. All different kinds of people have won the show, so there's no specific prototype. Be who you are, try. You never know if you don't try. And you know what? Maybe you don't make it the first time. There are people that have been on that show that have tried out multiple times that haven't made it. Try again. All right, let's see what else. Okay. I'm just kind of picking these at random. This is overwhelming, guys. There's a bunch of you guys watching here. This is awesome. Do you think idols are way easier to find? They're found way too easy, I think. The first years it seems tough compared to now. I get that from a viewer's perspective that I watch the show now too, and it does seem like it's easier for them to find. But at the same time, what you have to realize from a production point of view is that it's a small element of the show. So they can only show so much. They're looking for it, they find it. Maybe they don't show the 5 or 6 or 7 or 8 times that the person goes looking and don't find anything, because maybe it doesn't go with the story, or it doesn't blend. It takes a lot of time. So I don't know necessarily that they're easier. It seems like it's easier when watching it on TV, but I don't know. I mean, the thing is, like, where are they going to hide an idol? There's only so many places they can hide it. So when you get out there to look, and oh, that's a weird looking tree. Maybe I should look there. Let's look under this rock. I never really liked the idols, but it does seem like there are more of them, and it's harder to keep track of them. It adds a definite other level and social strategic dynamic to the game. for sure. Okay, I'm just checking here some from Twitter also. Okay, we can talk about this. Let's talk about a little bit about this season and what happened the other night with Zeke and Jeff. Obviously, if you watch the show, Jeff calling Zeke out as trans and that whole thing. A lot of people have asked me what I've thought about it. I haven't commented on it up until this point, but I'll say that I think that Jeff was in the wrong. I mean, obviously, I feel like, his back was against the wall, that he was getting voted out, but I think he went somewhere that he probably shouldn't have gone. At the same time, I kind of see a little bit of his desperation in what he did. He was completely wrong to do it, but I think he realized it instantaneously when he saw the reaction of everybody else in his tribe when it happened. My jaw was on the floor at home, but I don't think Jeff is necessarily a bad guy. Like, I've known Jeff, I've met him, I like him. I think he got caught up in the moment. He took a shot at something, it backfired really bad, and I think he knew it immediately and felt terrible about it. The one thing I was really impressed with was not only how Zeke handled it, but how Probst handled it. I mean, that's the one thing about Jeff, why he's like the ultimate game show host, is like what you guys have to understand is in Survivor, like I said, there's never any cuts. Nobody ever cuts, says stop, cut the film, like we're going to do that again. It just happens. And in the moment, for Probst to be able to see it and let it like just develop and happen organically is just a testament to how good he was in the moment. Okay, enough about Jeff because I know how you guys like can't take that. All right. Okay, who are the top 3 Survivor players of all time? I mean, I don't know. That's such an arbitrary question. I mean, there are so many people that have played the game that have played the game well. My number 1 Survivor is in the other room with my 4 kids. Other than that, you guys can debate about that as long as you want. It's going pretty good. We're 18 minutes in. I was thinking when they told me I had to do this for an hour, at first I thought there was going to be a moderator or somebody with, Q&A, but you guys are great. I appreciate the questions, and it's good to be able to. I'm impressed with myself right now that I'm handling this as well as I am, I think. I don't know. How long was the walk to tribal council? I've always wondered that. Okay, it's different for different seasons. When I was on Survivor Marquesas in season 4, there was no walk to tribal council. We actually took a boat. The waters were very, very choppy, and we have to get in a boat under the cover of darkness, which was after the sun went down, and basically there were no more boats in the water. We had about a maybe 20 to 30, is a long time ago, 30-minute boat ride over these rough seas. And the one thing I remembered about it that was terrible was that they weren't able to dock the boat in Marquesas when they came in. So literally every time we went to tribal council, they'd get as close as they could to the shore, but we'd have to jump into the water. We'd hold the bags above our head with all of our belongings and stuff, and we'd wade in from about our chest into tribal council. Well, on more than one occasion, I remember, getting knocked over by the waves, or somebody's stuff would fall in the water and they'd get completely wet, and that was a pain. In All Stars, it was a combination of a boat and some walking. And in Redemption Island, I think we walked, and then we took a vehicle, and it's like a covered vehicle so that you're not able to see any of the surroundings or anything. And it's like you're sequestered in those moments. Yeah, so it's different. Every season is different. Okay. How do you know when to leave for a challenge? Like at what time of day? Again, there's a producer on the beach at all times with you. There's field producers and there's cameramen and soundmen. And whoever the field producer is, they will tell you, okay, it's time to go. They usually have a helicopter so they can film you going, leaving the beach area and whatnot. And they coordinate the whole thing. But for the most part, it's usually around dusk. When you're leaving, and then it's dark before tribal council starts, obviously. Um, okay. Hey, Rob, what's Sean Rector up to? How do they not have him back on the show? Sean is my buddy. He's still my buddy to this day. One of the first original guys from the Marquesa season. I talked to him a few weeks ago on the phone. He's doing well. He's still teaching. He's a teacher in Los Angeles in South Central, and he's doing well. He has an after-school program he runs where he mentors. It's called Boys to Men. And shout out to my buddy Sean. He's still hanging in there. As far as why he hasn't come back, I know they had they were talking to him a few times. Timing things didn't work out with his. He has a boy. He just had another little girl not too long ago. But I don't know. Maybe they should revisit that. He'd be great. I'd love to see him back out there again. There's actually a bunch of people I still keep in touch with from the show. Obviously, not everybody. No, I don't talk to Russell. But I'm good friends with Tyson, Courtney Yates, Peter Harkey from my first season, the guy from Millis, Mass. I still talk to Peter all the time, Sean, and a bunch of others. Rob, the General, DeCanio, and I see a bunch of them every summer. I'm involved in a charity. Every summer, I go down to Celebration, Florida. There's a charity called Give Kids the World, and it's an awesome charity. It helps kids and children that are fighting life-threatening illnesses. And it's not Make-A-Wish, but it's like a Make-A-Wish. It's people that want to experience, all the magic of Central Florida. It's an awesome event, guys. On my Twitter, there's a link. It's from a few weeks ago, but after this chat, if you remember, I'll post it up there. They raise money for these kids that are going, and like I've seen firsthand what they do. It's an awesome charity. If you can afford to, and you'd like to donate something, that would be really cool. But I see a bunch of the survivors down there. I meet new ones all the time. I saw Sandra there last year. I'm watching Sandra on the show this year. Sandra's gone now. It's tough. I like Sandra. I told her to go out as the only two-time undefeated winner. She didn't listen to me. I told you, Sandra. But no, she did a good job. She lasted a while for what she had to put up with. So that was cool. Okay, let's go. More questions. Let's see. Do I have a personal favorite on this season? It's tough to pick one person. I played with Andrea before. I love Andrea. I think she's playing a great game. I liked Ozzy. He has no chance anymore. And Sierra's a favorite in this house. But you know what? I like to see it unfold. There's some dark horses this season, and I'm not going to say at this point, but I have a suspicion of who might win, who might go to the end, and we'll see. We'll see if that comes true. But there's more than one person I'm rooting for, and I'm excited to see how it all plays out. Okay. I love you. I love you too. Are you allowed to interact with any production staff? No. The short answer is yes and no. I mean, Probst is a producer. He's the executive producer on the show. If you see him at a challenge, if you see him at Tribal Council, you can interact with them. There's a field producer on the beach every day or every couple days. You'll do a sit-down interview with them. You can talk with them. As far as hanging out and talking or any of that, the cameramen, the sound guys, any of the other producers on the beach, anybody that's involved with the show, you can talk right to them. They'll just ignore you. They won't talk to you. It's kind of they're there doing their job. They're not there to interfere in any way whatsoever. And if you interact with them or try to in any way, it doesn't happen. So as far as interaction, the only one is like with Jeff and like at Tribal or during your interaction and talking with the producers on the beach. Okay. Do I still think Colby Donaldson is soft? I haven't seen Colby in a while. Colby was a competitor from back in the day, and he and I, we gave each other our best shots out there. And I got nothing but respect for Colby. I hope he's doing well. I haven't seen him in a while. But no, what's on the show stays on the show, and I leave it, come home, and back. Here's a funny story that you guys may be interested in. Colby Donaldson is actually one of the main reasons why I applied to be on the show in the first place. I remember watching Survivor Australia, and it's kind of funny that at the time, I don't even remember Amber on the show, but I remember Colby, right? What does that say? Anyway, I remember how fierce of a competitor he was back then. And I remember sitting there watching it with my dad saying, you know what, I could beat that guy. If I had a shot, I could do what he's doing. And my dad kind of looked at me. He's like, well, why don't you apply for the show? If you think you could do it, why don't you try it and prove it? And lo and behold, after all these years later, I did apply. I got on the show. I applied through just sending in an application, and so it's funny. I guess I owe Colby a lot. I guess that can be said about a lot of people and a lot of things throughout the casting process, though. Okay. What was your personal favorite season of Survivor? I think I really and truly loved playing on All Stars. I felt like that was coming back, meeting Amber, falling in love, and kind of having a lot of unfinished business, as far as being able to compete again and getting a second chance. That was special. Obviously, Redemption Island, winning on Redemption Island was awesome. They're all different. It's kind of funny. Like, I have 4 kids and I don't have a favorite child. I love all my kids. They're all different. The Survivor seasons are a little bit like that. Marquesas was my first. It'll always have a special spot. Heroes and Villains is a season of what could have been, and I'm still friends with Tyson to this day. God, what's wrong with me? No, but they're all special. I don't really have a favorite as far as the ones I played. And the other ones that are on, like I said, it has a whole new meaning for me now because I get to watch it and experience it with my kids and through their eyes and watching them watch it. And someday they haven't seen it yet, but someday they'll go back and watch when they get a little bit older some of the other seasons, and they can see the progression, and that'll be cool too. Lucia, my oldest, is already talking about what are we going to do? When am I going to be on Survivor? So I think they definitely have the bug. We set up challenges in the backyard, and they do obstacle courses. They love it. At gym class, they climb in the ropes. And right now, I'm actually building a tree house for them in the backyard. If you guys followed me on Twitter, you saw all the pictures and everything that I'm doing with that, and it's pretty cool. So we're definitely a Survivor family over here. Okay. Has Survivor asked you to play again since you won Redemption Island? I have got called and pitched different seasons. Like I said, at this point, I think I'm just happy being home with my kids. Maybe someday, you never know, but I'm not thinking about it or training for it or doing anything like that at this point. Did you, Lex, and Kathy ever make peace? That's a good question. I saw Lex at the Give Kids the World charity event 2 years ago. And that was the first time I saw him, I believe, since the All Stars finale. I went to visit him right after the All Star season ended at his home in Santa Cruz, and then saw him at the finale, and then we hadn't talked for years. Uh, I saw him 2 years ago at Give Kids the World, and we buried the hatchet. Officially, things are cool. I wished him well. He wished me well. So we've kind of had that cathartic experience, I guess, and yeah, we're good. Kathy, I haven't seen or talked to since the All Stars finale. I may have seen her at a charity event. I don't remember, but I got nothing but love for Kathy, Lex, for everybody that I competed with. Even Russell. I mean, I don't wish any ill will or hard feelings towards anybody. As far as I'm concerned, Survivor is a game. It was an awesome, wonderful experience in my life. I get that, it didn't work out for everybody the way it worked out for me. So I understand that. I think just in time, different people work through it at different times. And, some people maybe will never be able to work through it. But, for a long time, I didn't have to really worry about that, I guess, because I was happy just leaving it all out there. All right, that's that. Okay. Do you hang out with Tom Westman at all on the pre-jury trip? I guess you're referring to Survivor, um, Heroes versus Villain. No, yeah, Heroes and Villains. I didn't. James blew out his knee and had to have ACL surgery. So Tyson, James, and myself ended up going to Australia for 3 weeks and had a blast and never saw Tom. I think he ended up going to Fiji. I'm just gonna tweet here for a second and see if any of you guys, if anybody else is gonna join us. So bear with me, and I'll try to do two things at once. Okay, we are live now. Come hang out at Survivor. Trying to multitask here and do more things at once, right? Okay, are you good bros with Jeff Probst? Yeah, Jeff and I are cool. I mean, I'm not calling him every weekend. The last time I talked to him, I think, was February after the Super Bowl. We have a mutual friend who is from Seattle, and I love to give him a hard time. And we were ragging each other back and forth. But yeah, Jeff's cool. He's a busy guy on location. Did you and Grant make peace? Unfortunately, no. Grant was somebody that, kind of when he was done with the show, he didn't want anything to do with it after, didn't want anything to do with me. I reached out to him multiple times. But you know what? Sometimes you got to just let people have their space and, like I said, go through what they're going through. Would Amber ever play Survivor again? I think Amber is probably less likely than me to play again. They've asked her back. She has zero desire to go back out there. I think she prefers watching it on TV at this point. We talked about it, but you never know. Maybe you guys know something I don't. But as far as she told me, probably not. But you never know. Uh, how are your thoughts of an all older person season? You know, the one thing about Survivor is they have a format that works that always keeps it fresh. I don't think you're ever going to see Survivor in a cold climate. I don't think you're ever going to see an all older person season of Survivor, only because the demographic that they're trying to get is a mixed demographic of the entire, spectrum. So I don't know that that'd be something that would work, but you never know. They're always doing things different. It's funny, like as they start to bring people back that have played the game before, at first I was kind of, even though I was a part of it, I was kind of like, I don't know if I like this or not. I kind of like the new people, but now I've transitioned to liking it more. In my mind, I feel like, seeing people that I've played with before, seeing how they've evolved as players, uh, like I said, Andrea has like she's killing it in the challenges. She's taking initiative. I always knew Andrea was a good player, but you can definitely see how she's matured as a person and grown over the last few years alone. And it's cool to see that with people that that have played before. So I like how they're doing one season new player, one season a twist with returning players. I like that. Uh, okay. Do you think that trust clusters have replaced alliances? Come on, man. This is like Stephen Fishback wording. Trust clusters. Trust clusters are alliances. It's another way to say it. It was a good idea, you know what I mean? But you can't fool the guy that invented it. uh, What's your favorite part of Pittsburgh area near where Amber's from? So Amber's from a town called Beaver, Pennsylvania, which I tend to think maybe might be part of the reason why she was cast on the show in the first place. We get back and visit her family often. Uh, I like Pittsburgh, with the exception of the Steelers. I'm a obviously diehard Patriots fan, but there's great restaurants downtown. I love the Primanti brothers, and around her area is awesome. There's lots of local places, and it's a cool town, a cool area. Love it. Not like Boston, but I love it. Uh, what's a day in the life of Boston Rob these days? Well, it's probably a lot different than you would expect. This morning, I got up at 7. Amber was up at 6 o'clock or earlier. She was up before me, but Amber took the 3 older kids to school, and I took the baby. My youngest, Adelina, goes to preschool 3 days a week. I took her to school, and then had to go to the doctors because my oldest one had sore throat, so it's pretty normal. Doctors came back, picked up the other one, made dinner. Yes, I cooked tonight. Chicken soup. Obviously, she was sick. I made chicken soup, homemade chicken soup. It's pretty normal, and then spent time getting ready for this. Uh, as far as work and stuff goes, I am playing poker at nights sometimes and have other business stuff that I deal with on the side, investment stuff, and still involved in construction and home stuff. So every day is different a little bit, but it's probably a lot more domesticated than you think. Still like to see the guys sometimes, but it's busy with 4 kids. I mean, I still have one in diapers. So, uh, advice on what kind of speech to give if you make it to the end. That's a great question. Something that, only really two or three people have to think about, but something that everybody that goes to play Survivor should think about. And that is, what do you say? You've worked so hard, you got on the show, you busted your butt the whole time, you've made it to the end, and what do you say? You should think about that for sure. I would first and foremost try to put people on the jury that will vote for you and have somebody sitting next to you that you can beat. I know it's not always possible. I mean, I lost All Stars in that respect, that I didn't think about that. And I went into All Stars. I listened into the All Stars jury, or the All Stars final tribal council. I listened to what everybody else had to say first, their opening statements, and I felt bad. And because of that, instead of saying, hey, stop the crybaby-itis over here, you guys got played, I beat you, I tried to apologize to them. And it's like one of the one things that I regret from all 4 times playing Survivor is trying to apologize to people for the way that I played. When I played a take no prisoner approach and I made hard decisions and I did things that I had to do to get myself to the end, and I felt like I deserved to win. But as a 25-year-old kid, after hearing everybody lay into you, I didn't think about that. So you want to think about not only what the jury wants to hear, but what they want to hear is you being true to yourself. And if you can tell them something and still be true to yourself at the same time, then I think you've accomplished what you need to accomplish. And it's something that everybody should think about before they actually make it to the end. Okay, one sec. It's a lot of talking. In the house with 4 girls, I do most of the listening. 5 girls, if you count Amber. Trade Jimmy Garoppolo or keep him? Man, he looked good in those games that he played. But you know what? They got to do what they have to do. I think Brady's good for at least a couple more years. I was bummed out about the Bruins. Any hockey fans out there? Man, they played 4 out of 6 games in overtime and lost 3 of them. Still got the Celtics, though. Big sports fan. I still love my sports. Red Sox, Yankees tonight. So we're going to have to back and forth. Survivor, Red Sox, Yankees. And then after Survivor, we'll see the conclusion. Thought process during the Super Bowl. Man, you guys wouldn't believe me if I told you. I promise you, I thought they were going to win, even when they were down. I got pictures of my buddy. We were out at the bar watching the game, and they're down in the dumps, and I'm running around. They got videos of it, and I'm going, they're coming back. It's the greatest comeback ever. But I know you guys, most of the world doesn't want to hear about the Patriots. I get it. It's tough being the best. Okay. Here's something that I think is the number one thing about being on Survivor. And it's actually in the Boston Rob rule book that I wrote. Be willing to adapt. You want to be on Survivor. The number one rule, you have to be willing to adapt. You can't go on that show with a game plan and say, this is what I'm sticking to no matter what. If you're not willing to change based on the circumstances or based on other things that happen, there's no way you make it to the end and no way you win. You have to be able to willing to adapt to different situations. And the person that's best able to adapt, the person that can do it the best, will be the most successful most of the time. Not all the time. Because even if you do everything right, and even if you make all the right plays, there's still an element of luck involved in Survivor. That's what makes the game so hard. That's what I love most about the game, is that it is so hard and it is so elusive that, you can do everything right and not win. At the same time, you can do something wrong and make a terrible mistake. But the next day, something may happen in your favor to switch the whole game. So you should never give up. And I think there's lots of lessons that you learn in Survivor that you can apply to everyday life. Uh, I mean, essentially, Survivor is a microcosm of what goes on in the world and how people, it's not the same, but there are parallels for sure. Okay, here we go. Everybody's filling up my feed with hockey things. That was tough. Any interest in Big Brother? Any friends with any of the Big Brother alumni? The only one that I really know from Big Brother is Mike Mallon, Mike Boogie. And I thought he played great. But here's something interesting. Lynn Spillman is the casting director from Survivor. And there was one season of Survivor that she didn't cast. It was actually cast by a woman named Robin Cass. And that was season 4, Marquesas, my season. And Robin is actually the casting director for Big Brother. As far as giving up my whole summer to sit in a house, no, I don't think so. Not me. I appreciate what they go through. I know Kevin from Big Brother Canada, I think it is. I play poker with him. He's a cool dude. But it doesn't really interest me. It just seems like Survivor without the physical aspect of Survivor. And that physical aspect of Survivor is what makes it different and great. I don't think I just want to sit in a house and plot and scheme and then go in a backyard on a lot in LA for, 3 months. So, okay. Let me go back because I missed a bunch in the beginning. What do you think of the decision that a tie vote now leads directly to a rock draw this season? I was surprised about that, but I applaud the producers for doing that because it switches things up. It adds another element of strategy to the game. If I'm a player in the season, I hate it. Of course, I don't want anything that's going to make, my game more difficult. But from a viewer's standpoint, it's awesome to think about the different angles. I think it plays out more when you get down in numbers, not so much when there's so many, but it can actually be used as a strategy. We haven't seen it yet, but you never know. They may actually force somebody to do it at some point this season still. I don't know. Maybe not. But they're always switching it up. Those rules change every season. You get a big, thick packet of rules for Survivor, and before the game starts, it's up to you to read them cover to cover, learn what you need to know the rules. I'll tell you what, on The Amazing Race, because I knew the rules better than anyone else, I got away with a lot more than anybody ever did. And actually manipulated, I think you guys, I don't know if you remember, the meat eating challenge, where we had to eat 4 pounds of meat or 6 pounds of meat. There was no way I could do it. I got a tough stomach in those situations. But I knew the rule, taking the penalty, and I knew a way around it, that if I could convince another team to do it. And at first, the producers were irate. They were like, what do you mean he's quitting the challenge? Bertram was there. Van Munster was a producer on the show, and he couldn't stand that I was doing this, and now we're going to be sitting around for 4 hours. And then once he saw that I got other teams to do it and used it as a strategy, even though I don't think he liked delaying the race for another 4 hours, I think he appreciated what I did there. So make sure you know the rules, that's for sure. How long did you know Amber before you proposed? That's a good question. Because a lot of people, they see it in TV time. They see Survivor on in the winter, and then us getting married in the spring. And oh my goodness, it happened so quick. It was quick, but it wasn't that quick. I mean, I spent 39 days on Survivor with Amber, and then we came home and we spent 6 months together. We filmed, I think, in December, and we got engaged in May. And then it was a year, or less than a year. 11 months later, we were married in April. So, start to finish, I think a year and a half before we were married. And like I said, we just celebrated 12 years. So, I guess things worked out pretty good for that girl. No, I'm just kidding. It's funny sometimes on Twitter, because you don't have this facial expressions and stuff. People, I don't think the sarcasm doesn't come through. When I tweeted that a few weeks ago, I got a lot of people saying, "What do you mean? She's the lucky girl. You're the lucky one." Yeah, no kidding. Okay. I mean, some of these questions, guys, like what is your favorite moment from each season? All right, let's start with season one. Uh, do you believe that Suri got robbed? You know, I'm a big fan of Suri's game. I think she's, it's funny you wouldn't think so because maybe she's not as physical as some of the other players, but Suri is slick. She is slick, and I tweeted last week, how is she never been to tribal council yet, and it's already the jury? I don't think she can win. I mean, I can't believe they would let her get to the end. But if she does, she wins. I don't think she gets to the end though. But Sari is slick. She's very good, just like Sandra. She'll put an idea in your head and make you think it was your idea and it was her idea. They both learned that from me. No, I can't say that for sure. But it's fun to watch. She's fun to watch, for sure. Are you playing the World Series of Poker 2017? I'm definitely, poker's a passion of mine now. I'm going to try to get out there this summer, probably for a little bit. In the past, I've gone for longer, but, my kids are getting older now, and I like to spend time with them. We're involved with tennis and golf and ballet and all kinds of other activities, and I like to be a part of that. So I probably will come out for a little bit. I don't know how much I'll come out for, but I wish everybody good luck. I love poker. One of these days, I'm going to win one of those World Series of Poker bracelets. We got just about 5 minutes left here. And you know what I'm going to do is I'm going to let you guys meet my family. You guys want to meet them? Let me call them out here and see if they want to come and say hi, and you can see them. Hey, Amber. I'll go get them. I'll be right back. Hang in there. You guys want to come say hi? Come on, quick. We only have a few minutes. Okay, I'm back. Okay, first is my oldest daughter, Lucia Rose. She's 7 years old. Come on in, Lucia. You remember her when she was just a baby? Say hi, Lucia.
Hi.
Look right here. Say hi.
Hi.
Who's your favorite on Survivor this season?
Andrea.
You like Andrea this season. You think she's going to win?
Mm.
Okay, we'll see. Okay, next up, Karina.
Me. How about me?
How about you? You want to be next?
Uh-huh.
Okay. This is Adelina. Adelina is 2. How old are you?
2.
And do you like Survivor?
Uh-huh.
What's your favorite part of Survivor?
Challenges.
Challenges? What about the Doritos?
Doritos.
You like the Doritos?
But I don't like spicy ones.
You don't like the spicy ones. Okay, I love you. All right, who's next?
Karina.
Isabetta. Oh boy. Look over here. Who do you see? You say hi? And do you like the challenges on Survivor?
Yeah.
Yes? What's your favorite person this season? Sierra. Yeah. Okay. Say bye-bye.
Which one? You said there were two. Do you like the first one? Yeah, I like the first one.
Okay, Karina. And Karina is how old?
6.
6. What do you like about Survivor the best?
Sierra winning.
Sierra winning? What about
In
Jeff?
the challenges.
You want to say anything to Probst? You want me to tell Jeff about the dance you were doing about him last week? Huh? You want me to tell him? Okay. You guys excited? It's starting in 5 minutes. You better get the Doritos ready now.
I'll eat them, buddy.
Okay. You want to say hi, Mama? Come on, come and see the world. You gotta back up a little bit. Say hi.
Hello.
You can talk to him.
Hi, everybody. Long time no see. Are you ready for Survivor?
Are you gonna ever go back on Survivor?
Probably not. I can't leave my 4 kids for that long.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's what I said.
Yeah, that would be really tough.
But you never know.
But the girls would love to see us on there because they ask us all the time if we're going to go back. So.
You wanna get up? Okay.
Say hi, everybody.
You guys want Mom and Daddy to go back on Survivor again? You guys want to watch Mama and Daddy on Survivor?
Where would you go if we went on Survivor?
We would go live with Papa and Grandma.
Oh, go live with
Oh.
your grandparents?
You live with Papa and Grandma, you might not come back.
Oh, we will.
All right. Well, guys, this has been fun. We've enjoyed it. I think we're going to sign off and get ready and watch this season of Survivor. So, everybody, thank you, and we'll catch you next time. All right?
Bye.
Bye-bye. Enjoy the rest of the season.